Hi, Prof. For my HH2031 final research, I shall be tackling the question: how does American Chinese cuisine redefine authenticity? More specifically, in what ways has American Chinese cuisine assembled various types of authenticity to promote cultural fusion through fusion cuisine? Before tackling the question, let's first look at some contextual background. As part of the video, we rely heavily on news book to highlight how Chinese food in America has evolved over time. In the early 1850s, more than 20,000 Chinese immigrants moved to America during the gold rush in hopes to go from rags to riches. Most were involved in mining, fuel, and food operations. The first Canton restaurant opened in 1849 in San Francisco, California, with a maximum capacity of 300 seats, which were quickly filled by the first Chinese arrivals from Guangdong, China. Quickly a appeal of success resulted in an increase of Chinese immigrants from a few thousand in 1851 to 20,000 in 1852. As such, Americans saw this invasive and reacted in an anti-Chinese manner, prompting the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882, a legislation that greatly prevented Chinese immigration to the US. However, by then there were already 14 Chinese restaurants in San Francisco, which was just a stepping stone for American Chinese cuisine. In 1896, a rebirth of Chinese restaurants in the form of chop suey houses reacted after Li Hongzhang's visit to the US. Important diplomat whom American businesses were interested in, when his favorite food reported was chop suey, there was a sudden craze for Chinese food. Chinese immigrants quickly capitalized this and changed its recipe to fit American palate. They expanded their restaurants businesses outside of California and took America by storm. Chop suey houses spread from New York to cities on the East Coast as well as the western US. In 1900, Chicago had only one Chinese restaurant. By 1915, it had 118. In 1974, Chinese restaurant owners no longer labeled their business chop suey houses, but Hunan, Sichuan, Mandarin, or Shanghai restaurants. American customers gradually realized that authentic Chinese food was very different from chop suey meals and much richer in its culinary content. This culinary turning point is attributed to Chef Peng Chang-kui, who invented General Tso's chicken. Our final culinary turning point in American Chinese cuisine is the invention of orange chicken in 1987 by Andrew Cheng, owner of Panda Express. Originally salty and spicy, Cheng invented a new sweet and spicy orange sauce for the American palate. As of 21st century, there are more than 45,000 Chinese restaurants in the United States. Now that we've gone through an extensive chronological review of the American Chinese cuisine today, we've identified three historical and culinary turning points, which are chop suey, General Tso's chicken, and orange chicken, which also represent the different types of regional cuisine and establishments. But all of it has a recurring theme, which is authenticity. This video intends to probe deeper into the significance of authenticity and argue more specifically how American Chinese restaurants assemble various types of authenticity to produce not only the cuisine but culture. Authenticity will be understood from the sociological perspective and framed by Pierre Bourdieu's stereo distinction. Through the lens of Bourdieu is seen in individuals within a class assert their unique cultural capital and differentiate themselves from others while staying true to their personal values and beliefs. This framework can be applied to American Chinese cuisine, as seen in the cultural background. They have altered their dishes to suit American taste buds, however, they maintain a Chineseness in their cuisine. Another lens we may look from is Edward Said's theory of Orientalism. The concept of authenticity in Chinese restaurants in America constructs a dichotomy between Chineseness and Americanness, suggesting how Chinese culture is perceived in American society. This aligns with Said's study of how the Oriental other is racialized and linked to the authenticity of cultural otherness. However, this video intends to argue Chinese restaurants have overcome this idea of Orientalism and instead invented American Chinese cuisine as a cultural medium between the East and West. Now they have established some background ideas about authenticity. We shall look at the types of authenticity Chinese restaurants in America utilize to promote American Chinese cuisine. True sociologist Carroll and Wheaton views there are four types of authenticity: type, craft, moral, and idiosyncratic. We will also be relying on Johnston and Baumann study that identified various types based on typology in magazines. For this research, I have sampled over 20 menus from Harley Spitter's menus collection as a representation of the Chinese restaurants in America. We shall look at specific elements of the menus that are associated with the characteristics that fall under the specific types of authenticity. Our first type of authenticity we'll be looking at is locality, explored by Johnston and Baumann as framing the cuisine from a specific place that gives it familiarity. Menus will specify the type of cuisine they serve to promote regional variety and engage in local authenticity. Another form of it is by clarifying certain dishes, i.e. wonton as Chinese ravioli, to allow Americans to familiarize themselves with Chinese dishes. Furthermore, according to Roberts, food was imported from China. By the 1860s, Chinese were paying 500,000 duty on important goods such as sauces and dried oysters. As such, it was important for restaurants to promote local authenticity in their menus and dishes to maintain a Chinese aspect of a Chinese restaurant in America. From Johnston and Bauman's study, natural authenticity can be framed under Carroll and Wheaton's moral authenticity, where the ingredients of the food must be fresh, farm or pasteurized. Typology serves to highlight the healthiness of the dish and give it a pure aspect because of its cleanliness. This ties to the historic context of MSG scares or a Chinese restaurant syndrome in April 1968. Due to a published article on symptoms after eating Chinese food with MSG, restaurants started promoting themselves with no MSG, even to the point of including health food section Despite its scarce, Chinese restaurants in America did not falter. Instead, they adapted and allowed themselves to be fluid in the culinary field. Finally, I would like to discuss on the elements identified in the survey of menus that show a linear progressive change of attitudes towards Chinese food in America. Using two menus as a comparison, Little Joe's Blue Room recorded between 1930 until 1969 in California, the most recent one, Lila, in New York, that is recorded from 1980 until 2009. From these changes, we see a less of a distinction between American and Chinese dishes, reflecting the improvement in attitudes towards American Chinese cuisine from 1849 to the 21st century due to the combination of various types of authenticity as displayed in their menus and dishes. To sum it up, Chinese restaurants in America have redefined authenticity by assembling various types of authenticity in the frame of Bourdieu's distinction. Through local and natural authenticity, Chinese restaurants in America have introduced a fusion cuisine that brings a culinary exchange between the East and West, subverting Science's theory of Orientalism. As Liu expresses, food culture is an ethnic marker. We see a fusion of cultural capitals mediated by a fusion of cuisines, thus suggesting authenticity is no longer a dish as original, but dishes that exemplify elements of various authenticity and innovation. Thank you.